14 years of survey, collecting data of around 80,000 business-to-business industrial type customers. So they do research on the customers, around 80,000 customers, so it's over a long period. And this is something that they got from the research results. So the first thing that customers want salespeople to be personally accountable for end results. So whatever you sell to the customer, if something were to go wrong, your customer will not call customer service. They will call you. They will call your mobile phone. They'll send a WeChat to you. They want you to respond, right? So whatever happens, the salesperson is accountable, right? And along with this line, what the research found is that customers don't buy from your company. So if you are Carl Stoltz, if you are Delphi Active, if you are Honda and so on, customers don't buy from a company. Customers buy from salespeople to get your company's products and services. Right? The relationship is with the salespeople. Okay, so this is the reason why. Number two, customers expect salespeople to understand the customer's business, not just the product, not just the technical aspect, but also the entire business. Number three, customers want salespeople to be proactive and proactive in providing advice. Not just proactive in selling, but also telling customers what will be the best solutions. Okay, so it's about proactive giving advice. It may sound strange because especially in Asia, Asian salespeople tend to be more apprehensive, more afraid to customers. Asian salespeople tend to think about that if I were to tell the customer, no, there is a better way. This is a better solution. Especially when you are disagreeing with the customer. 我们亚洲销售如果是跟客户的意见是不一样。So we tend to think that no, we are offending the customer. 在得罪客户。But it's not the case. It depends on how you phrase it. Customers want to get better advice from salespeople. And the simple reason is this. Why is it that our products are not sold on Taobao or Alibaba? Why don't the customers just go online and choose the product they want? Why do they need to see a salesperson? I mean, customers are busy people, right? So if they're busy people, if they can reduce one meeting, they will reduce one meeting. So whether the meeting is with internal meetings or with salespeople, if they can choose not to go to one meeting, they'll say, I'm not going to the meeting. Then, if that's the case, why do they still meet up with salespeople? 就客户如果说他能够少一个会，那就更好一件事情。那为什么他还要跟销售见面排队？ But there must be a reason, and part of the reason is customers want to get insights, valuable information, some things that they do not know but would like to know. Right? So what are insights? And we can use a flip chart. 什么叫见解？ Flip chart and insight basically at the most basic what we have is data, right? And when you organize data, what does it become? You get data, you get numbers, and it's organized. What does it become?
Information.
Information.
Something useful.
If it's something useful, it becomes knowledge. Now, what is higher than knowledge?
Solution.
Insight means how to use the knowledge. You have a lot of knowledge, but if the knowledge is useful, but you don't really know how to use it, it's not really that useful. The insight is how should I use the knowledge? When should I use it? What is the best way to use it, and so on. This is insight. And of course, if you got a lot of insight, you get wisdom. Now, we can't provide wisdom. We can provide insight. So these are things that customers want from salespeople, they would like to have insights about why should I use solution A instead of solution B? Why should I buy from you instead of someone else? Why should I buy now instead of later? And this is the advice to the customers. And customers want salespeople to suggest the right solutions that solve customers' problems. Customers want you to be easily accessible, maybe not 24/7, but relatively easy. 随传随到.
Here I think also I want to put a comment here.
Yes.
I realize our salespeople almost every second read the WeChat from our customers. Every call, like this kind of training, they just look at
Customer.
Yeah,
Right.
and every call they just take.
Right.
Yeah, there's sometimes you need to stop, have
Yes.
your own thinking.
Yes.
You give your own time, 3 hours in the morning, do
Yeah.
some planning.
Yes.
I don't like that they want to read every second the WeChat. This is not
You
my
want to
way.
be easily accessible. It
Yeah.
does not mean you are instantly accessible. So
Yeah.
there's a difference.
Yeah.
Right, so it's about what is a good time to respond, right? And sometimes, talking about speed to respond, sometimes if you take more time to respond to customer, you may actually give a better response. Right? Because something that's on the spot may not be well thought through, you may not get the right information. So sometimes if you delay for say half an hour, 1 hour, maybe that allows you to gather more information, to ask the wrong things and get a better response, or give a better response. So it really depends on the situation. Then there is also, customers want salespeople to be more creative. Don't just give the usual solution. Is there a different way of doing things? Okay, so these are some of expectations of customers in the past. This is way before VUCA. Also, this is from someone else about why customers buy. Customers don't buy from people they like. Customers buy from people they trust. It's not about like only. Well, of course, you don't make your customers hate you. 我们不是要让客户讨厌我们。But more is about customers want to trust salespeople, and we'll explain why in a while. This is what is known as the challenger sales model. Usually, sales training, sales thinking, don't make it to major business management publication. 一般这个销售的这些理论，通常不会就是上到主流的这个管理方面的一些杂志啊，一些那个刊物。This is one concept that went up to Harvard Business Review. 到那个哈佛商务评论。So this is one concept of business challenger sales, and what they found is when customers buy, especially for industrial products. Now, the difference between industrial selling and consumer selling. Say if you're a consumer and if I were to sell you this, right? If you're a consumer, if I were to sell this, do you need to go home and think about it? 你需要回去考虑考虑吗? No, right? Do you need to ask your wife or someone else? Should you buy this? You don't, right? So you either decide buy or don't buy. End of story. You decide it within a minute, right? In industrial selling, usually more people are involved. People need to make group decisions. They need to factor in different stakeholders. So you have a longer buying process. So in the long buying process, what's going to happen is it can be divided into 3 stages. The first stage is customers need to be heard, right? They have a need and they want to express a need. 他有需求，他要把这个需求表达出来。The stage number 2 is they need to choose. Now that I've mentioned my need, and different sellers probably have presented different solutions, then I need to make the choices. Which one is better? After I make the choices, I gotta think about, okay, which one should I buy? Right? I need to succeed. Which one is the best solution, and I buy. These are 3 main simple stages. And with this 3 simple stages, we have 4 different needs. With 3 stages, there are 4 types of needs. One is customers are thinking about their pains and their goals. what problems they want to solve and what goals they want to achieve. That's one thing that they're looking at. They are also looking at the budgets. How much should I pay to solve the problem? They're also thinking about which one should I choose. Guess what is the last one? 需求、预算、选择，还有多一个什么？ Last one is actually, what is the risk if I were to buy from you? Now, why risk? Do you have customers that actually complain to you about their current supplier? Right, customers that actually complain to a salesperson of a potential seller about how bad their current supplier is. The current supplier is always late. They got product defects, right? The deliveries are unstable, right? So these are the complaints they talk to you. And then after all that complaints, they still don't change. What happened? 就客户就在抱怨他目前的供应商，抱怨了老久，然后还不改变。Right, that's a risk. What kind of risk? Oh, controllable risk, or predictable risk. What they're complaining about is, the current supplier is late, there's product defects, they have certain kinds of issues, but these problems are predictable problems. They know how to fix it. They are used to the problem, they're used to the problems, and they have in plans how to fix all these problems. Now, if you were to change to a new supplier, the old problems may be resolved, but will there be new problems or newer risks? So that's a bigger risk that's preventing customers from buying. Right, so there's 3 stages, there are 4 kinds of concerns that customers have, and the concerns actually appear in different stages of this. So in the beginning, guess which one is the key concern the customer has?
Risk, because of the transition period?
No, not the risk. The first one actually is, what do I want? I have a need, but I'm not very sure what the need is. Right, at this stage, salespeople need to let the customer think straight. 要捋顺客户的思维. Right, you need to let the customer just have a better idea as into exactly what do I want, how do I define the need, how do I reach my goal, or whatever the goal it is. So you need to understand the customer's thinking. You need to help the customer understand their own thinking. Right, so this is the first stage. In the first stage, there's something else that the customer is also thinking about. Guess what? 刚开始的时候，客户除了需求还想过一个事情。The 4 things, right? The need, the money, the options, and the risk. Which of these?
At this point, I would say the budget.
The budget, yes. They're also thinking of the budget, but as in how much money am I willing to spend to solve my problem? Right? So this is what the customers are thinking. But at this stage, the pains and goals is still the first priority. The budget is a concern, but it's not the first priority. Okay, so that's stage 1. Stage 2, what do you think is the key priority for customer? 第二阶段，就大家觉得是哪个东西对客户比较重要？
Well, you've already said risk is the final thing.
Yeah. The stage, of course, is options, right? Now that I've seen different vendors has made different presentations, then I'm thinking about which one should I choose. So I'm looking at different options. And stage number 3, it is budget, but a bigger concern is risk. Why should I buy from you? What will my boss say if I were to buy from you? What will the user say if I were to buy from you? And so on. Right? How can I make sure that if something were to go wrong, you will be there. You as a salesperson will be there to save me. Right? And this is why we talk about customers don't buy from people they like. They buy from people they trust. And the trust can be in different meaning. Sometimes we think about trust being that of integrity. 有时候我们觉得信任就是对方的一个诚信度、真诚度。Right? That's one part of trust. The next type of trust is the trust in your ability. Right? If you provide something that's reliable, 如果你的那个可靠性是比较高的 usually you have trust in ability. So the customers are thinking about, if I would buy from you and something were to go wrong, can I count on you to solve my problems? Right? If something is late, can I count on you to handle the delivery? If there's a defect, can I count on you as a salesperson to resolve the defects and so on? So this is how customers think and customers want at different stages of the buying process. Now, what are some of the salespeople mistakes? Salespeople generally, in the first stage, instead of finding out what are the concerns the customers have, tend to talk about products. And going there without asking a single question, without understanding what you need and clarifying your thoughts, I sell. Right? So that's mistake number one. Mistake number two in the options phase is, yes, the customer are comparing between different options, but the customers would like to have insights, what I wrote on the whiteboard, insights on why this and not that. But the salesperson just keep on talking about all the different products that you have. Now, how many of us has got a very strong marketing department that creates very wonderful and beautiful PPT slides? Anyone? 你有没有市场部就是那个 PPT 做得非常好，非常完整。Right? If you don't have, it's a good news. 如果没有就好。Right? Because some salespeople, out of laziness or whatever it is, the marketing department created a presentation deck. Very nicely done, beautifully done. It's got 100 slides. Right? And the salesperson will just present from slide 1 to slide 100. And this is what they did. Right? The customers are looking at how should I choose, not to understand everything. So the salesperson should relate to what does the customer need? What are they comparing? Right? How do I let a customer know which choices are better choices than others? So this is just telling without telling customers what you have indiscriminately. And the third part is salespeople at this stage, customers will give a standard objection. Usually at this stage when we're negotiating, customers, the first objection will be, can you lower your price? 对吧？对啊，那签单的时候，客户的一个答复都是可不可以便宜一点 ，right? It's universal, right? It is a concern of all customers, but it is not the only concern. It may not even be the major concern. It is just something that we are conditioned to automatically ask, right? Even when we are customers, when we buy anything, the first thing that comes to mind is, can it be cheaper? Right? But after beyond can it be cheaper are other concerns. So what salespeople does at this stage is just to reduce price without thinking about there could be a bigger need, which is to reduce the risk of buying from you. Right? So these are some of the things that salespeople are doing wrongly. Now, some of us have seen this. Is there a difference between price and value? 价格跟价值有区别吗？那啥区别？
You decide price, customer decide value.
You decide price, customer decide value. What else? 还有吗？ In a very simple terms, price is what you pay. Value is what you get. Right? So this is a simple term. If the customer, maybe ROI, just like like the breakfast you pay, you don't think about the ROI of the breakfast, but you think about is this breakfast worth the money I pay? If the customer feel that whatever I get is lesser than the amount I pay, they have a serious price objection. I'm paying too much, right? And the thing is, who defines value? Seller or customer? 价值是谁定义的？所以是卖方买方。The customer decides what is value, right? The seller's job is to let the customer know why is it valuable to them, right? You need to justify your value to them. So this is the price value, and you need to think about the value of the customer. The example that we use is usually, now if we are in this room, hotel room, and you've got 1,000 RMB in your pocket, 你在这个会议室里面，你口袋里有1000块这个额外的这个预算。And we all have water in the room, right? 这屋里都有水，免费的水。Right? If you run out of this water, you can always get our waiters outside to give you more water for free, right? And if someone from the outside tries to sell you a better water, 如果外面有人进来就说给你卖一个更好的水 ，right? They say it is the Swiss Alps water. 瑞士雪山的这个泉水 ，the more you drink, the younger you become, right? So that's Swiss Alps water, right? And you have 1,000 RMB in your pocket extra. 你额外的预算是1000块。How much will you be willing to pay for this Swiss mountain water? How much is not that much?
I don't buy.
You don't buy. Why? It's better water. It makes you younger. This is good enough. Okay, 这已经够好了，冰度够好了。Right, this is good enough. So we're not buying. So there's no value to me, right? Then a different scenario. Now, if you are traveling on, let's say you are going to Ningbo from Shanghai. 从上海到宁波. So you're traveling on the Hangzhou大桥. Traveling on a bridge that crosses the sea, and at the middle of the road, your car broke down. And the reason it broke down is it's overheated. 车抛锚了，抛锚的原因是你车过热 right? And it's a good car, so all you need to do is to pour water into your car, and the car will start. Right? 你车是好车，你只要这注水，然后这车就能开。Right? But you don't have water in your car. Okay, and you're in the middle of nowhere. 前不着边后不着地 in the middle of nowhere. And someone passed by, saw your problem, and tells you, I have water in my car. How much are you willing to pay for my water? Okay, and you also assuming we're not paying by WeChat, you're not paying by Alipay, 不用微信，不用这个支付宝。You got 1,000 RMB with you. 你口袋里有1000块。How much are you willing to pay for the water?
Well, we'll ask how much do you want to charge first.
他开价就1000块，你会怎么还呢？
I would have to assess my visit to Ningbo and the value of that.
Okay, what is the value of me going to Ningbo?
Right.
Okay.
You know, if I'm going for holiday
Uh-huh.
and I got time,
Yeah.
then maybe there's something else I can figure out.
Okay.
If I've got to be there for a meeting to sign something that's going to be a valuable contract,
Right.
I might just look at this guy and say, you know, 200 kwai for your water,
Okay.
you know.
Fine. It can be 200 kwai, right? Now, even if you don't have something urgent in Ningbo, right? If you got something urgent, like you are going there to sign a contract for $1 million.
So I will negotiate with the seller, okay, whatever the values.
Yeah.
If you walk away.
Yeah.
If your cost is only 2 RMB, you.
Yes, I know.
Okay, and I negotiate. I understand you want some
Yes.
profit. If this business, you go over, we didn't agree that.
Yes.
Then you get profit.
What is the
Both
alternative?
is a lose-lose situation.
你的那个备选方案是什么？如果
I said I'll give them a quotation was like, okay, I'll give you 100 RMB.
100. Why
Okay,
100?
And is that okay?
Why 100?
I think probably it matches the value or the value I can get.
If you get a tow truck, you get 救援, it's about
Yeah,
a couple of
it's-
$100, right? 你招一个救援差不多要200-300, right? So if you get the water, if I can get lower than getting someone to save me, then it's worth it, okay? Or if I'm in a hurry, right? If I need to get to Ningbo by a certain time to sign a contract that's worth $1 million.
That's that much.
Right?
Well, think about what you said about more and more customers today are looking for the package, right?
Yeah.
If you just buy the water, then you don't have to do the individual parts of calling the tow truck and then getting to the garage and
Yeah,
then getting
yeah.
it fixed. You can go to
You
your
fix the
appointment.
problem
Right.
immediately, right?
Right, so you're purchasing more, you're
Yes.
purchasing
A
the
solution.
convenience of not calling the tow truck.
Yes, and not waiting.
Right, no, he's absolutely right, negotiation is going to be part of this.
Yes.
For me, my gut instinct of 200 was based on what I envisioned the purpose of going to Ningbo for.
Yeah.
That value, and
Yes.
I believe that more than likely, in a similar situation, this person would have been offered 100 or 200. It's going to be a starting point because he's going to come back to me with a counter offer. But I feel like I want to proceed through that negotiation as quickly as possible.
Right.
Just because sometimes the seller is not as good, probably they will increase the price again.
Yes,
That's
it
why
could be.
you have
Yeah,
to
it could be.
Okay,
This is-
okay, you realize that's the
I want to know what, if this is his purpose, he's driving back and forth across the river.
With a gallon of water, right? but the real situation was someone was driving. Someone was traveling in the U.S. and to get to the airport, sometimes the state that you're in doesn't have the flight to the place that you want to go to. So you need to drive across to a different state to get to the airport to get the flight to go to wherever you want to go. And in this particular scenario, the car actually broke down on the way to the airport. Okay, and the alternative solution is not to buy water; it's to call a cab. It's very expensive to call a taxi to go to the place, pick you up, and then go to the airport. It's very expensive, but it's more expensive to try to change tickets. Because that someone just bought a ticket that you cannot change it, you cannot cancel it. There's no postponement. So if you miss it, you got to rebuy the tickets, and it's for the whole family, right? So it's going to be a higher cost to try to change tickets. It's a big cost to call a cab, but it's still affordable, right? So that's a thing. Now back onto the water. It's the same product. In two scenarios, it's the same product. 两个情景那个产品都一样. Right, water is the same product in the two scenarios. In fact, in scenario number one is the better quality water. But in scenario number one, we are willing to pay less, or sometimes not even wanting to pay. In scenario number two, we are willing to pay 100, 200, maybe for the water. Why? 第一个情景我们买都不想买，第二个情景我们那个付的钱就可能是100-200块，为什么呢？产品是一样。The situation changed, the value as defined by the customer changes too. Okay, so that's the thing about price and value. So it's a matter of how you actually influence the customer in terms of value. So this is getting more and more in a state of VUCA. Also, you're not selling a product, you're selling results. Whatever products you're selling, it's not a product, it's the results. The old story, the old story, you know, in those hardware stores, 有些那种建筑五金店，家用的建筑五金店， there are people who try to sell drills, 电钻，手用电钻，这个家用电钻。Why would anybody want to buy a drill? 为什么人要买一个电钻？家里为什么要备一个电钻？ What's the purpose? What's the need?
You want immediate when you need it.
Yeah, you want me to
When you have a demand, you can immediately get it from the source.
Okay, you want to solve a problem. What else? There are people who say, oh, you don't want the drill, you want a hole in the wall. Right? 你要的不是那个电钻，你要的是墙里一个洞。Right? And the result is not even the hole in the wall. The result is you want a hole in the wall that is hassle-free. 要容易使用。You don't want to go through a very difficult process to get a hole in the wall. You want it easily done. You want to hang the picture. You want to mount a cabinet. 要把一个柜子，要把画还是什么东西照片挂上去。That is the end result. Right? The tool is only something that helps you to get to the end result. The same thing as our products. We're not selling the product. Customers are always focusing on the results. What is the result that you are delivering for a customer? Right? The other thing is, are you a salesperson or are you a trusted advisor? Can the customer believe what you say? Right? Are the customers willing to consult you of things that may or may not be beneficial to you? Right? So these are more and more things that customers are looking for. And why is this important? Again, the same research. The guys that took 14 years and interviewed 80,000 customers in the B2B scenario. The customer now is the single largest factor, 39% in the customer's buying decision. Right? No other factor, none. Whether it's product, quality, pricing equals the impact of salesperson. Right? So this is not by me. This is something that people